They say money gives you power, but what happens when power blinds you to pain? She was the daughter of a billionaire, spoiled, proud, untouchable, until one careless laugh, one cruel splash, turned her whole life upside down. What you're about to see is not just karma. It's a lesson she will never forget. Watch till the end. This one moment of disrespect changed everything. Be careful who you laugh at. Life has a way of swapping roles. But before we dive into the main story, please don't forget to tell us where you are watching from in the comments section. Like the video and subscribe. Thanks so much. It was one of those mornings in Lagos where the sun rose like it had a personal grudge. The air was already heavy, the streets buzzing with the chaos of early traders shouting for attention. But none of that touched Zara. Zara Williams, daughter of oil magnate Chief Williams, was cruising through the city in her spotless white Range Rover Velar. Music thumped from the speakers as she scrolled her phone, laughing at a meme while her driver weaved expertly through the traffic. She was wearing a champagne-colored silk dress and oversized sunglasses that barely hid her attitude. To the world, she was flawless, untouchable, entitled, until the car approached a junction near Ajagunal. There, just by the roadside, stood an old woman in a faded wrapper and torn slippers. Her back was bent slightly, and she clutched a small tray of bananas and groundnuts. Her face was tired, but peaceful. Zara looked up just as the driver veered sharply to avoid a pothole, but it was too late. Splash! A wave of filthy, stagnant water shot up from the gutter and drenched the old woman from head to toe. The tray of bananas fell. Her slippers slipped off, and for a long second, the street went silent. Zara blinked. Then, as the old woman tried to wipe her face with trembling hands, Zara rolled down the tinted window and burst out laughing. "Omo, see this poverty look," she shouted, snapping a photo. "I swear, this one go viral." The driver chuckled awkwardly, unsure if it was funny, but Zara didn't stop. "A beg, let's go. I can't stand this smell." As they drove off, the old woman stood still, not crying, not angry, just staring. And then, slowly, she picked up her tray, one banana at a time, and whispered something under her breath. No one heard what she said. But that night, in a lavish mansion on Banana Island, Zara tossed and turned in her bed. The air felt heavy. The shadows in her room seemed longer. At 3 a.m., her phone screen lit up. One new message. No name, just a photo. It was the picture she took of the old woman. But the woman wasn't drenched anymore. She was staring directly into the camera and smiling. A cold chill crept down Zara's spine. She sat up quickly and saw something written on her mirror. "You laughed first. Let's see who laughs last." Zara's heart pounded. She leapt out of bed and flicked on the lights. Her bedroom, usually her comfort zone with velvet curtains and golden accents, suddenly felt like a trap. She rubbed her eyes and looked again at the mirror. The writing was still there. "You laughed first. Let's see who laughs last." Written in something dark, something wet. She reached for a towel and wiped it clean. Her hands trembled. "It's just a prank," she muttered. "Maybe one of the staff?" She stormed downstairs barefoot. The security guard at the gate was half asleep. Did anyone enter my room tonight?" she snapped. The guard jumped up. "No, ma. Nobody fit enter upstairs. All doors locked, ma." Zara didn't believe him. She didn't believe anyone, not even herself. The next morning, she tried to shake it off. Maybe it was just a prank. Maybe she was tired. She dressed up, wore her best hair, and met up with her friends at a luxury cafe in Lekki. But as she sipped her iced coffee, a beggar limped past the glass window outside. He was holding a tray of bananas. Zara froze. Something about the way he limped. The tray. She stood up, heart racing, and rushed outside. But the man was gone, vanished into the Lagos crowd like smoke. Her friends laughed it off. "You day paranoid," said Talu, flipping her braids. "Nah guilt. Next time don't splash people." "I don't feel guilty," Zara snapped. "She's just a mad old woman. She can't do anything to me. But when she returned home that evening, something strange happened. Her driver, Elle, didn't show up. Calls went unanswered. When she finally got through, a woman answered. "Hello," Zara asked. "Where is Elle?" The voice replied calmly, "I'm sorry. Elle was found unconscious in his room. He hasn't woken up. The doctor says..." It looked spiritual. Zara's fingers went cold. She turned around to scream for help and saw it again. On the wall of her living room, a single wet handprint, small, wrinkled, like that of an old woman. She screamed. Her father came rushing downstairs, confused. "Zara, what is going on?" She couldn't speak, just pointed. But when he looked, the wall was clean. Nothing there. Her father shook his head. "You're spoilt, but you're not crazy. Go and rest." He walked away, but Zara knew what she saw. That night, she locked her door. She double-checked every window. She left the lights on. But just before dawn, she heard it. Knock, knock, knock. Slow, rhythmic. From inside her wardrobe, she picked up her phone with shaking hands, turned on the flashlight, and crept toward the wardrobe. Knock, knock. She opened it empty. But on the floor, lying neatly folded, was a wrapper soaked in muddy water. She gasped, and just above it, scratched faintly on the wood. Zara didn't sleep after that. She sat in a corner of her room until daylight broke through the curtains. Every sound made her flinch. Every shadow made her heart skip. By morning, her face looked pale. Mascara smudged, lips dry. Her usual glow? Gone. She called her best friend, Kamsi. "I swear, Kamsi, something is happening to me. I think she cursed me. That woman." Kamsi sounded concerned. "Zara, calm down. Let me come over." When Kamsi arrived, Zara poured out everything. The message, the mirror, the muddy wrapper, the knock in her wardrobe. Kamsi listened in silence. Then she said something Zara didn't expect. "Maybe you should go and apologize." Zara scoffed. "Apologize? To a gutter rat? For what? Reacting to dirty water? You weren't there." Kamsi stared at her. "Zara, I love you, but you're not making sense anymore. Maybe this isn't about her. Maybe it's about you." Zara snapped. "You can leave." Kamsi stood up, hurt flashing across her face. "Sometimes rich people forget they're still human. Be careful." She left. Zara stood there angry but also alone. Later that day, she went to her father's study to find something to distract herself. Anything. Books, old photo albums, dusty frames. But as she flipped through a box of family photos, one image made her freeze. It was an old, grainy photograph. Black and white. 3 children standing beside a woman. Zara didn't recognize the kids. But the woman? It was her. The old woman. The same face. The same eyes. Zara stared, stunned. She flipped the photo over. July 1972, Mama Esther and the Williams kids. Her breath caught. She ran downstairs. "Daddy!" Her father came out slowly, holding a glass of juice. "What is it this time?" She held up the photo. "This woman. Who is she? Why is she in our family photo box?" He took the photo. His expression changed. Then he whispered, "Where did you find this? Just answer me." He sat down, visibly shaken. "That's Mama Esther. She was our maid. A good woman. She raised me like her own, until the accident." "What accident?" Zara demanded. He hesitated. "Your uncle ran her over. He thought she died. But her body was never found." Zara's voice was barely audible. "She's alive." Her father looked up sharply. "What do you mean?" "She's alive, and she's coming for me." That night, Zara did something she'd never done before. She knelt beside her bed and prayed. But as she whispered the words, her lights suddenly flickered off. Her phone screen lit up. One video message. She opened it. It was a video of herself, sleeping, in real time. She dropped the phone, then heard a faint whisper behind her ear. The video played on a loop. Zara, curled up in bed, eyes shut tight, breathing shallow, unaware she was being filmed. And behind her in the shadows, something moved. She slammed her phone against the floor, shattering the screen. Her scream echoed through the mansion, and this time, the house staff rushed in. But she couldn't explain it, because if she told them the truth, that she was being haunted by a woman her family wronged over 50 years ago, who would believe her? Not even she could believe it. Later that evening, her father came into her room holding something. A small, dusty wooden box. "I didn't want to show you this," he said, voice low. "But maybe it's time." Inside the box were old newspaper clippings, a broken rosary, and a torn envelope. Zara picked up one of the clippings. "Nanny disappears after accident. Family under scrutiny." "I never told the truth," her father said quietly. "Mama Esther didn't just disappear. She cursed us before she vanished. I heard her voice. Said no Williams child would ever know peace unless justice was done." Zara felt her chest tighten. "So why didn't you do anything?" "I was a child, Zara," he snapped. "And by the time I grew up, life got good. The curse, it faded. Or so I thought." Zara stood. "I laughed at her. I splashed her. I disrespected her like she was nothing." Her father sat back down. "Then you must make it right. But she's not even human anymore. Then go back to where it started." Zara stared at him. "You mean Ajigunal?" He nodded. The next morning, Zara left the comfort of her world behind. No driver, no bodyguards, just a plain black hoodie and sunglasses. She returned to the junction where she had splashed the old woman. The spot still smelled of gutter water and fried plantain. She stood there. Nothing. No sign of her. She knelt in the dirt, ignoring the stares from passers-by, and whispered, "I'm sorry. I'm truly sorry." Then, from behind a nearby kiosk, a figure stepped out. It was her, wearing the same wrapper, face clean, back straight, but her eyes? Deeper, sharper. "You think words are enough?" the woman said. Zara looked up, tears forming. "I don't know what to do." The woman stepped closer. "Neither did I. When your uncle left me to die." Zara gasped. "So, you did die?" The woman nodded slowly. "But not all deaths are final." The sky suddenly darkened, clouds covering the sun in seconds. People began to flee the street. Zara stood, trembling. "I'm not the same girl you laughed at, Zara. I know. I'm not here to kill you." "Then why?" The old woman stepped forward, placed her hand on Zara's forehead, and everything went black. Zara collapsed. When she opened her eyes, she was lying on the same street, soaked in gutter water, wearing a torn wrapper, tray of bananas beside her. A dirty little boy passed and laughed. "Yeah, see, mad woman." Zara opened her mouth to speak, but no voice came out. She stumbled to her feet and ran to a side mirror on a nearby car. What she saw made her collapse in horror. It wasn't her face anymore. It was Mama Esther's. Zara stumbled back from the mirror, heart thudding in her chest. Or was it even her chest anymore? The face staring back at her was old, wrinkled, tired. Not the 23-year-old billionaire heiress she knew. It was Mama Esther's face, her hands, her voice, her shell. But inside, she was still Zara. People on the street whispered and laughed as she ran barefoot through the dusty roads of Ajigunal. Her once soft feet burned on the hot gravel. She cried out, but her voice came out cracked and unrecognizable. A little girl tried to offer her a sachet of water. "Take, Mama." Zara reached for it, trembling. The girl smiled, then ran off. Zara sat under a broken street pole, confused, broken, soaked. Was she trapped in the past? In a dream? In someone else's punishment? Then she heard a voice. Not outside, inside. "You wore my pride like perfume and laughed at my pain." Zara held her head, tears streaming. "I'm sorry. Please, please take me back. I'm not strong enough for this." The voice replied softly. "That's what I said. Until I became nothing. Now it's your turn to be nothing. So you can learn." Zara sobbed. "Please, I can change. I will do anything." Suddenly, the air shifted. A dark swirl of wind spiraled around her, and her surroundings froze. People mid-step, birds mid-flight. It was like time cracked. Then Mama Esther appeared, fully formed this time. Calm, composed. She stood before Zara and said, "I never wanted revenge. I wanted understanding." Zara crawled toward her, weeping. "I didn't understand pain. I didn't know suffering. I had everything handed to me." Mama Esther looked down. "And yet, you splashed filth on someone who had nothing left." "I was blind," Zara whispered. "But now I see." Mama Esther touched her forehead again. Everything faded to white. When Zara opened her eyes, she was in her own bed, her silk sheets, her chandelier, her Range Rover keys on the nightstand. She gasped, checking the mirror. Her face was back. She touched her skin. Her voice returned. It was real. All of it. She ran to her father. "I saw her. I lived in her body. I felt it. The shame, the struggle, the rejection." Her father looked at her, eyes wide. "She gave me a second chance," Zara said softly. 3 weeks later, the city was talking. A new foundation had been launched, the Esther Grace Project, offering shelter, food, and dignity to old women abandoned in the streets. Zara was seen carrying trays, sweeping floors, washing feet. Not for publicity, not for likes, for redemption. But just as she was closing the gate of the foundation one night, an old woman walked past. Her wrapper swayed gently in the wind. Zara looked up. The woman turned and smiled. Zara smiled back until she blinked and realized the woman had no reflection. Never look down on someone because of their situation today. Life has a strange way of humbling the proud and lifting the humble. One moment of cruelty can echo forever, but one act of kindness can heal a soul. In life, it costs nothing to show respect, but when pride comes first, the fall can be unforgettable. Subscribe for more stories that open your eyes and touch your heart.